Good morning, Unity East. How's everybody this morning? Glad to see so many people here. Today is the first Sunday of Advent. Can you believe that already? Holy smokes. Today, the minister that will be delivering our message, she's small, but she is dynamic. Reverend Anita Koch. And of course, we have our lovely pianist. And today we have the UEC choir. If everyone would like to turn to hymn number 1 in their hymnals, praise God that good is everywhere.
Hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith. As Advent season begins, I say no to pessimistic or hopeless notions that may have crept into my thinking, dimming my hope and weighing on my mind and heart. Today I say yes to goodness and positivity. I feel a sense of renewed hope dawning within me, a promise that something wonderful is on its way. In these moments I feel my faith is growing. I reaffirm my belief that no earthly condition, no worldly circumstance is greater than spirit. This is where I place my faith in the power, presence, love, and grace of God. As I call upon these divine attributes within myself, I perceive them more readily than others. I grow in faith that together we have the power to create the world of our highest imagination. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Romans 15:13.
Okay, would you like to light the first candle? Here. If you'd like to turn to hymn number 8, we praise thee, O God. turn to the statement of being, which is on the inside of their bulletin. God is all, both invisible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is God. This one is all, is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am individualized, fresh of God. I am number one, with its perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I'd like to start my messages with remembering what I forgot what we called it. Anyway, it's from the Bible, and it's, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord. And we used to sing that, and the reason that we're not doing that anymore is because there's one word in there that just doesn't fit for me. And it's the word acceptable. Because there's nothing that's unacceptable to that presence and power that lives within each and every one of us. So I kind of adapted it for my own use. And you might want to consider it for yourself. Because sometimes we're in a situation where the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart aren't the best. And so what I have changed it to say is, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be in alignment with that Christ self that lives within me. And I say that before I start the message because I spend a lot of time writing these messages, and sometimes what I've written down and what I want to share with you are not exactly the same. And so I ask that what I speak from up here I'm not up here for me, really. I'm up here for you. And I am tremendously blessed by this opportunity, because every time I work on one of these talks, I get so much from it, and I cannot possibly share everything that I get from studying and preparing for these messages. I cannot possibly share it all with you in the limited amount of time that I have. And the Advent candles that are up here, I had never really studied all that much about Advent. And of course, today is the first Sunday of Advent. We just lit the first candle. And the first candle, Advent itself, the word itself, Advent, comes from the Latin, and it's for arrival. So the purpose of this is to prepare us for the arrival of that Christ Spirit. You know, in unity, we are metaphysicians. Metaphysicians mean that we look beyond the physical. Meta is above. We see beyond the physical. We look for what is there, what is the message in the physical things that might be taking place in our life, because there's always a message. And this week, our focus in most Christian churches, which Unity is a Christian church, most churches focus on hope. This is the week of hope. In Unity, we expand that a little bit, and we talk about hope and faith. And that's why I entitled today's talk, Hope Becomes Faith. Because hope is that little spark, that little glimmer, that little, let's try things, light. That's the hope. What you're looking at right now, that flame, that's faith. So hope deepens into faith, and that's what
That's what we're talking about today. And then next week is peace. And boy, now it seems like more than ever, our world needs peace. There's a war going on. People's lives are being snuffed out for no reason, really, other than someone's greed or possessiveness, wanting what someone else has for their own. And then the following week, it's love. What a beautiful, beautiful way to prepare for the arrival of that presence and power that's always there. It's just that sometimes we forget. And then when we light that final pink candle, that's a candle of celebration. It's joy. We are so joyous that we have gone through these 4 weeks of Advent and celebrated all of those wonderful aspects of this season. The hope and faith, the peace, the love, the joy. And Unity is a Christian church. And as a Christian church, we follow what's in the Bible. And I base this message today on hope becoming faith on Hebrews 11:1. It's one of my favorite verses. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Because, like I said, unity, we see beyond the physical. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, not real happy about. However, all of it contains a message of hope. And we can take that hope. That's the one thing, and that's what I like about the word hope, is that we can hang on to that. You know, sometimes our faith might get a little shaky. Just like, you know, a wind comes along, and that flame, and it, you know, it does its thing. It's like, whoa, what are you doing to me? But hope, we can hang on to that. We don't ever have to lose that. We don't ever have to let go. We can allow that little spark, that little glimmer, to stay in us always. So, you know how I love my stories. And I came across this story about a lady by the name of Madeline. And she was, you know, this time of the year is tough for some people, right? Because as much as we love Christmas and we love the shopping and the lights and the holidays and the gifts and being with friends and family, it's not that way for everybody. Sometimes people have gone through a loss, and this is their first Christmas without that special person or someone that is missing from their life. Well, Madeline was a widow, and she was having a rough time. And she had a wonderful marriage. Her husband had a great job, and it allowed her to pursue her passion, which was that of acting. And she never became a famous actress, and she got a few bit parts here and there. She did some commercials, but she loved doing it. And Herb was good with it. I mean, they weren't wealthy. They weren't superstars. She was no superstar. They had a nice life. And he passed rather suddenly. And fortunately, he did have a small insurance policy, because when she was going through the heavy-duty part of the grieving process, she wasn't doing much of anything. And so the life insurance helped her make it through. But now it'd been quite a few months, going on a year, and the insurance money was almost gone. And she really hadn't been pursuing her passion of acting because she just, quite frankly, didn't feel like it. So the money was running out. Her rent was overdue. She had a phone bill that needed to be paid, and the electric was about to be shut off. So she was in pinch. And she wasn't old enough for Social Security, and she wasn't poor enough to get public assistance. You know, you gotta be, it's one thing being strapped, and it's another thing being so strapped that you can't put food on the table, and that's when they're, you know, that's when the government steps in, and that's a good thing, in my opinion. No one should have to go hungry. And so she had food on the table, she was doing okay in that regard. But now she had all this stuff kind of piled up, and it was like, well, wake up and smell coffee time, as they say. But she still had hope. She still had hope, because she knew that there was a presence and power within and without. Just like they sang, the choir sang this morning. It's within and without. That presence and power is everything. That is the divine spirit. And so she had a post office box where she got all her actress mail. And I guess they don't even say actress anymore, they say actor. But anyway, I'm old, what can I tell you? So as she was walking out, getting ready to walk out the door, she looked at her bookshelf, and she had this old family Bible. Does anybody have those great, big, thick, old, huge family Bibles? Well, she saw that up on the shelf, and she said, okay. So she pulled it down, she put it on the floor, and she stepped on top of it. And she said, God, you told me to stand on your word, and you would provide all my needs. So that's what I'm doing. So with that, she stepped down, put it back up on the shelf, and walked out the door. So when she got to the post office, and there were 2 envelopes in there, she looked at the one and got a little excited because it had her agent's name on the return address. And so she opened it up real quick. It was a check. One of the commercials that she had done was evidently still running, and she only got paid quarterly from those commercials, and there was a quarterly payment. It was enough to pay her rent and a little bit left over. Boy, was that good. The other one, however, was from a college that she helped her son apply to. And he'd gotten in, and she helped him out with some classes too. But she thought, oh God, please don't tell me they want more money. But she thought, okay, I've even got a little left over from this one, so this is good. She opened up the envelope. There was a letter inside. She took the letter out, she opened it up, and she started to read it. And as she did, another check fell out onto the floor. And she picked up the check real quick and read the letter, and it seemed that in her something happened, I don't know, she wasn't sure if he dropped a class or what it was, and she didn't really care. But they had given her a refund because she was, even though her son was the student, she's the one that was paying the bills. So, and that check, combined with what was left from the first one, was enough to pay a phone bill. Oh my goodness. Thank you, God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If the only prayer we ever say is thank you, that would be enough. So she said thank you, and she went on her merry way, and she's driving in her car, and her phone rings. Thank goodness she was able to pay a phone bill, right? And so she answers the phone, and it's her agent again. And she says, Madeline, I'm so glad I caught you. One of our other actors was in an accident on his way to a shoot. And we need somebody like right now. If you can be there within an hour, get into makeup, the job is yours. And she said, well, sure, I can do that. And by the way, do you mind if I ask how much it's going to pay? And she couldn't help but grin when her agent told her it was just a little more than she was going to need to get the electric bill completely up to date. So, I love those kinds of stories because we see beyond appearances. In unity, we see beyond appearances. We metaphysicians. And so we look at that story as, wow, isn't that great? All those lucky things happened to her. All those wonderful coincidences. I like to call them God winks. And sometimes we need more than one in a day. And there is this presence and power that can take our mundane situations, our worries and our concerns, and when we stand on hope and allow that hope to fill us, then that gives that presence and power the opportunity to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. We let go and let God. Month of November is almost over. The power for this month is release. And there's so much power in letting go. But sometimes we just want to hang on so darn tight. And I can do it. I know I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Maybe not. You know, as I was preparing for this, I like songs and song lyrics, and I thought about Carrie Underwood song from I think it's about 10 years ago now. Jesus, take the wheel. And so I went on YouTube and I pulled that song up and I listened to it and I pulled up the lyrics and I looked at the lyrics and, you know, and it's you know, kind of a sappy old country western song, you know, she's on her way to see her mama and her daddy on a snow white Christmas Eve and the baby's in the back seat and yada, yada, yada. I mean, but here's the point. The point is, the story says, I can't do this on my own. And sometimes, that's where we're at. We're trying to do it on our own. I can do it. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and then that's going to happen, and it's going to make me enough money, or it's going to make me feel better, or it's going to do this, or it's going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And then we do all those things, and guess what? We're still sad. We're still crying ourselves to sleep. We're still whatever we were before because we can't do it on our own. Sometimes we just have to let go. Let go and let God. And say, I can't do it on my own. I'm letting go. You take the wheel. I'm stuck. I've done everything I can think of doing, and I'm tired, and I'm sad, and nothing's working out for me. I need help. And you know what happens when we truly let go? Not just saying we're letting go and then still, you know, get that little thing sticking out the back. Kind of hanging on by the, nobody saw that, right? Yeah, no. go. Maybe not. Maybe we're still trying to handle it on our own. You know, and that's why we have to work. The hope is always there. The hope doesn't leave us. But we have to let go, because that's where faith comes in. You know, when Jesus went out in the storm with his disciples, and a storm came up, and Jesus was sleeping inside the boat somewhere, and the disciples got all freaked out about it. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, boat's going to capsize. We're all going to drown. We're out here in the middle of the lake. Jesus, you got to wake up. You got to do something." And Jesus woke up, and he looked at him, and he said, you know what he said? He asked him a question. Where's your faith? And he rebuked the winds, and it all calmed down. Where's your faith? Because faith does this. So hang on to the hope, yes, but deepen that faith. Deepen it. How do you do that? We talked about it last time I was here when we were talking about Thanksgiving. Talking about practice. Daily spiritual practice. You know, if somebody gets a new job, they go through training. If they want a promotion, they go through more training. If you want a job these days, you're going to get a college degree. I mean, a higher paying job. And then once you get that bachelor's degree, you want to go up in the company? Guess what? They want more. They want you to get your master's, maybe even a doctorate. Mike, years ago, Mike graduated from college, my husband Mike, graduated from college with a degree in psychology, which is a great degree. I mean, it's a great degree, learning how people work, learning how yourself works. He's used it all of his life. However, at one point in time, sometime ask Mike the story about how he got this job, because it's a great story. I've heard it a few times, and it really is a great story, but I don't have time to tell it. So he through a series of very interesting circumstances, he got a job in the field of psychology. He was working with mentally impaired younger people. And they, you know, these could be 18 to 25 or even older. They were capable individuals. They were capable of living on their own. They were capable of holding a job. They were capable of, you know, they didn't have a huge skill set. But, you know, you want somebody, you need people to do the less skillful jobs, right? And when Mike tells the story, he tells about how these kids would go to work. They'd go to work sick. They'd go to work if it was, you know, if it was an ice storm. They'd go to work no matter what, because that's what they did, and that was important to them. It made them feel good, and they did a very, very good job. And once he started placing these students from his school because he was doing placements for them from a school. And once he started doing these placements, he was very, very successful at it. They said, "Mike, you're doing such a great job. Where's your master's degree?" And he said, "I don't have one." And he said, "Oh, well, we'll pay for you to go back to school." And he said, "You didn't hear this from me." No, he actually did. He had some issues getting started, but he did okay. He actually made the honor roll and such stuff. But he didn't. I love going to school, so if you tell me I go to school and you're going to pay for it, I'm going. You know? But that wasn't his attitude. And he said, "No, I don't want to do that. And they said, well, I'm sorry. You know, you're one of the best people we've ever had in this position, but we gotta let you go. Because sometimes things don't work out the way you think they should, the way we think they should. I mean, if you're doing a great job and everybody loves you and you're doing a wonderful service, why in the world would you lose your job? Because that's the rules. And sometimes that's the way it turns out. But you know what? You don't give up hope. You don't say my life is over. You don't say I can't do this. You let go. You let go and you let God and you say, you know what? This is something better. That to me, that little phrase right there is one that I've adopted over the years. Because you gotta have goals. And you know, the SMART goals are specific and all that good stuff. So yeah, you want to know what you want, know when you want it by, know the specifics, and this or something better. Because sometimes you get so specific and then it doesn't happen the way you expect it to or we expect it to. And we're like, oh, this stuff doesn't work. It does. It's just that Spirit's way is not necessarily our way. And so we have to we have to be open and allow that divine Spirit to work in and through us. We are the arms and legs of Spirit. And Spirit's going to do for us as much as we will allow it to do. Because if we're like, I got this. It's okay, I got this. Okay, you got this. If you don't like the results, well, you got that too. So, that's the difference between hope and faith is hope is kind of there's a seed of doubt in there. There's a seed of well, gee, I sure hope that I have enough money to, I don't know, take a vacation this year. I sure hope that my kids will show up. Or I hope that things are going to work out. And that's okay. But, we are divine beings, and we are having a very human experience. And our human experience is filled with doubt. And until we get to the level of our way shower Jesus, and even he went through periods of doubt, didn't he? So if even the Savior of the world, depending on who you ask, would have periods of doubt, don't you think it's okay if we do? We don't need to beat up on ourselves because we're living in hope. We just need to do that daily spiritual practice. If you want to get good at anything, what do? You practice. So every day, make time, take time, whatever you need to do every day. Just find a quiet spot and sit. You can go through the Unity 5-step process. If you don't remember it, that's okay too. Just go to a quiet place and sit. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let it go. Feel all of that stuff, all of those worries, all of the concern and the sadness and the pain go. If you need to, get the Bible out and stand on it. Whatever works. There's no wrong way to do it. We are individualized expressions of the divine. And as such, we have the power to do all things through that divine spirit that lives in us and through us. And it is that divine spirit and our own spiritual practice that makes hope become deep faith. Namaste. So what we're going to do now is go into meditation. And I want you to just think about if there's anything that you heard today that struck a chord, anything that says, yes, I want that. I want that deepening of faith. I want that peace. I want that love and that joy. I anticipate all of these wonderful things that this Advent season is bringing in my life. And I know, because I am an individualized expression of God, I know that they are available to me, that that presence and power will speak to me and show me and guide me what I need to do. I don't have to do it on my own. I can hang on to my hope and allow faith to deepen through my daily spiritual practices, just by sitting and knowing that that presence and power lives in me, not outside, not up on a cloud. It's in all of those things too, but it is in me. And it is just waiting for me to be still and know that it's there. It's waiting for me to ask. It's waiting for me to let go and allow it to do for me what I cannot do for myself. So let's go to that place right now. Go to that spiritual center that you know where it is. You feel it. You feel it in your being. I want you to go to that place and feel that light, feel that energy, feel that presence with you, in you, as you. And just give it space. Give it all the space it needs. And let's just sit in silence with that presence. We know our weight has been lifted. That hurt, that pain, that discomfort, that worry has been lifted. We've let it go. We've said, I can't do this on my own. I need help. beats our heart, that help moves the blood through our veins, that help is closer than hands and feet. It is that presence and power, that divinity, that is the Christ self that lives within each and every one of us. And we are so grateful, so thankful that that presence and power is known to us. And we know that it never leaves, and it's just for us to practice the presence. And we promise ourselves that this holiday season, more than any other time in our life, we are going to practice the presence and know that feeling of oneness. And so it is. Amen. And now is the time for tithes and offerings. And this is the time where that circle comes around. And hopefully you received something today. Hopefully your lives have been improved by coming to Unity churches. I mean, that's why I'm here, is because what Unity has done for my life. And I've talked to so many people, and I know it's happened time and time and time again. And it's still happening today. And there are people out there that don't know about Unity. They don't know how many lives have been changed. And it's up to us. It's up to us to be the ones to say, you know, there's this little church over there on Gratiot and 16 that you might want to check out someday. So I invite you to invite people. And let's fill the sanctuary. Let's fill the sanctuary with people who want more in their lives, who want that. They want the hope and the faith. They want the peace. They want the love. They want the joy. So let's share it with them. You know, you can't make them come, but you can let them know. That's all you have to do. So let's take our gifts in our hands, and remember we've added to this And once we have our TV up here, the words will be up here, so you won't have to look them up. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give joyfully and easily, for the universe is my source, and abundance is my nature. Thank you.
The church decorating and lunch is Friday, December 2nd at 10:30. Please sign up in the book corner. Paul Ritchie at Christmas to Remember. And remember, the concert is on Friday, December 16th at 7. There'll be hors d'oeuvres and raffles. Tickets are $20. Remember, this benefits the roof fund. If anyone was here for the last one that he gave, it was phenomenal. So, be ready to have a great time that night. Christmas Eve service is at 3 p.m. for cookies, coffee, and carols. And the candlelight service starts at 3:30. There is no service on Christmas Day. Don't forget to sign up for kitchen help. And snacks and goodies are always appreciated. Don't forget to sign in for that also.
A week or 2 or 3 ago, I forget exactly when it was, we had our annual meeting. And Unity is different than a lot of other churches. You don't sign up and then just you're a member for life. That's not the way we work. We ask that you renew your commitment to membership every year. And as you walked in today, Wade handed you a slip of paper. And this is, the board went to a training with our regional representative from Unity Worldwide, Reverend Greg Coles. And we received this as part of our training that, membership in Unity isn't like becoming a Catholic, it isn't like becoming a Methodist even, or some of the other Christian religions. But we do follow Jesus' teachings, we do believe in the Bible, we look at the Bible from a metaphysical perspective, we look beyond what is being told about what physically happened in the Bible. And so what we're doing for the first time with this membership covenant is asking you, each one of you individually, not only to say, yes, I want to be a member of Unity East Church, but to say, I commit, I covenant to living my life in such a way as I will reflect the teachings of this institution. So if you'll take your paper out, and there's only one, after these were printed, I took the liberty of adding something, and down on where it says I will include Unity East in my daily prayer life, I added, and we're not going to say it because you don't have it written on there, but next time you get one of these, it will be on there. I will live my daily life in harmony with the core values of Unity East and will include Unity East in my daily prayer life. And I have for each of you a small card with Unity's core values on it. And we spent time as a congregation to decide what values were important to us. I got somebody maybe pass these out. Thank you. And so, let me keep going, just, Carol. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm not going to spend the time to go over this because I don't want to run too long. But take a look at this, you know, and don't just take a look at it and put it away. Take a look at it and read it. Make this part of your daily spiritual practice. Make Unity East, the Unity East core values. Include those in your daily practice. So hopefully I made enough notes. If I didn't, let me know and I'll make sure that I bring some more next week.
If they get one side closed.
Oh, and they're in the bulletin. So if you don't get one, you can look at the bulletin. It's UEC's core values right there. So anyway, so anyone who signed their membership card 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, I would like to read this membership covenant together. And as you read this, don't just read it for words, read it and commit to it. You ready? I understand and am aligned with the basic teachings of unity. I understand these principles are based on the life and teachings of Jesus, and that we honor the spiritual truths of all spiritual paths. I will make my spiritual unfoldment and relationship with God a priority in my life. I will do my part to support the mission of Unity East to awaken humankind to its spiritual potential by inspiring, educating, serving, and creating community as exemplified by Jesus Christ. I will support my fellow members and congregants in developing a loving and inclusive community. I will extend myself with loving warmth to newcomers in our congregation and those I do not know yet. I will include Unity East in my daily prayer life. I will include Unity East in my financial giving, establishing a systematic support extended joyfully and lovingly. I will serve as a volunteer at least periodically, thereby learning the value of sacred service. I will speak with constructive purpose about our ministry and my fellow congregants. If I experience upset, I will seek guidance from Spirit first, and then speak directly with the person involved to seek mutual understanding and resolution. I recognize that my presence and participation at services and activities is a contribution and a gift that enhances the experience to all. Yet I am discouraged from feeling any guilt when unable to attend. Together with my fellow members and congregants, I am co-creating with God the ongoing dynamic life of Unity East. I recognize that together we help keep its doors open, expand its programs and services, thereby blessing and serving countless others like myself. Through membership at Unity East, I honor the Spirit in me and the Spirit at work through Unity East. And I want you to sign these, but I don't want them back. I want you to have these. And I want you to keep these. And I want you, don't stuff it in a drawer someplace. Put it up on the refrigerator. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Use it, read it, feel it, and be it. Because we are the change. So thank you very much. And do you have more, Linda? Okay, then why don't we circle up for our peace song. The